Hello Miners and welcome back. I got another fun one for you today. We got some mono white Stompy action, and with the release of Tarkir Dragonstorm, there's actually been quite a bit of hype about trying out this deck, and I've seen a few versions running around, all thanks to a new dragon out of the set, Clarion Conqueror. It's a 3 mana 3/3 dragon hate bear that essentially has Null Rod, Curse Totem, and the Immortal Sun on a stick. And it's that magical 2 and a color pip Stompy cost. So everyone was clamoring to throw this into a mono white Stompy deck and basically just have another hate bear that's also on a good body with evasion. So we're going to take mono white Stompy through a league and try to showcase off this new card out of the new set that everyone's hyped about. Tarkir Dragonstorm also actually had a couple of other cards in it that kind of just fit naturally into the shell really well. Another one I'm super excited about is Sage of the Skies, which also has the magical 3 mana cost. It's a 2/3 flying lifelink creature that, if it is the second spell you've cast in the turn, you get to cast a copy of it for free. And in Stompy decks, that's super easy because turn one, you can drop a Soul Land into a Lotus Petal or a Chrome Mox. So then just casting the Sage of the Skies is your second spell for the turn because one of your mana is a spell as well. So I'm super excited to try that out, to try to get some super fast starts in here. The fact that it has lifelink also is huge because it means that it's negating the damage that you're taking from your Ancient Tombs. So it's a really exciting addition into this deck. Another new card in the deck that I'm testing out here is Voice of Victory, which is a 2 mana 1/3 with Mobilize 2, which, if you don't know what Mobilize does, it means when it attacks, create however many Mobilize number it is of tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens that you then sacrifice at the end of your turn. But the key thing on this is the text below that, where your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. So it's kind of like a Grand Abolisher that also shits out tokens to be able to go wide of what your opponent's doing. But what I really like about that is it essentially turns off your opponent's counterspells on your turn and kind of acts as redundant copies of Cavern of Souls to make sure that what you are casting is uncounterable. So I'm really excited to try this card out. As I mentioned, there's a couple other builds of this deck that I've seen kind of running around, and the Voice of Victory slot is kind of the flex spot. I've seen some versions that have Thalia as another hate bear. I've seen some other versions that are kind of just still going more on the higher end of things with Palace Jailer's main set as additional removal and to be able to get the Monarch and stuff like that. But I'm going to test out Voice of Victory today, see if it's as good as I think it is. And the rest of the deck is pretty much your standard mono white Stompy shell. You've got all your normal hate bears in the form of Anointed Peacekeeper and Archon of Emeria to try to slow your opponent down while you do your thing. Solitude as removal and a body later, and some lifelink if you need it. Witch Enchanter as a land and artifact or enchantment removal. And Seasoned Dungeoneers just to power through the initiative, close out the game as quickly as possible, and just overrun your opponent. Pretty standard Stompy mana base, all of your soul lands, a bunch of basic planes because we're mono white, and then a full playset of Cavern of Souls to make your creatures uncounterable. The nice thing about this version of the deck is most of the creatures you're casting are going to be humans, so you don't have as much tension in this build naming creature types with Cavern of Souls as you have in the past with some of the other ones that have more non-humans. However, since we do have a full playset, we can still name Elemental, we can still name Dragon, we can still name Archon. So we have the flexibility. As I mentioned already, the Voice of Victory is kind of acting as 2 additional copies of Cavern of Souls that you don't have to name a specific creature type so that you can cast these creatures on your turn and they're uncounterable because your opponent can't cast any spells during your turn. In the sideboard, we've got a full playset of Leyline of the Void to respect Oops All Spells and Reanimator decks that are just all over the format right now, so it's kind of a necessary evil. If you're in non-blue, you basically are forced to play a full playset of Leyline of the Void in the sideboard. Chalice of the Void to be able to shut down Storm combo decks, restrict Delver decks, since most of their stuff is 1 mana. Just slow your opponent or restrict them from being able to do what they want to do. Even Mind Sensor is an add-in that I kind of threw in here. With stuff like Doomsday running around, it prevents them from being able to search their entire library to create their Doomsday piles. We've also seen Storm running around, it stops their tutors. Any deck that wants to find specific cards in their deck, it also shuts down stuff like Urza Saga, tutoring out a Shuko for Nadu combo. So just kind of a fun little hate bear that I wanted to throw in. And the fact that it has Flash is also nice because you can surprise your opponent with it. Lorna of the Third Path is just another artifact or enchantment removal spell that also is on a body and allows you to draw cards if you need to. Palace Jailer is some additional removal on a stick. It also allows you to be able to get the Monarch and get another card draw engine going in addition to the initiative and powering through the Undercity. Ensnaring Bridge is my respect in this deck for Sneak and Show and Omnitel style decks. I've seen a couple people running around with Ashen Riders, even if they can't physically cast them, as respect to those things. But I went with Ensnaring Bridge just so it's easier to actually cast if we need to. And we already have so much enchantment hate in the form of the Witch Enchanters and Lorna of the Third Path that I didn't feel the need to play something like Ashen Rider. So we can show in one of those to blow up an Omniscience, or we can show in the Ensnaring Bridge so that they can't attack with their big fatties if they're just showing in an Atraxa or they're showing in an Emrakul or something like that. So this is Mono White Stompy highlighting new cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm. I'm super pumped to run this through a league. Let's see if we can stomp our opponents into the dirt. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, Mono White Stompy time on the die roll. Let's go. Give me a good hand here. This is actually pretty decent. I think we're going to keep this. We're not doing anything until turn 2, but hopefully our opponent's not on some kind of super fast combo deck. We're going to start off with the Plains. The reason we're waiting until turn 2 is so that we can copy the Sage of the Skies. Not to mention, we don't really have any 2-mana plays here anyways, but that's why we're holding on to the Chrome Mox instead of running it out. Zyator's Proving Ground, so I'm guessing that means this is probably a Beans or a Domain deck, in which case we're going to go ahead and slam Cavern on Human, so that we know that our shit's going to resolve. We will start off with Chrome Mox, because sometimes if you start out with the Cavern, they know that the creature's going to be uncounterable, and they'll counter the Chrome Mox instead. So, use Chrome Mox's ability. Throw Witch Enchanter under it. Sorry about that. Tahiri something has her attention somewhere. Put Cavern on Human. Cast a Sage of the Skies. Get our token copy. Next turn, we can either play Witch Enchanter to blow up a Beans, or we can just play Seasoned Dungeoneer and start going to town. Just try to end this game as quickly as possible. We will see what they do. If they play a Beans, I think we're going to go ahead and blow it up and then start doing initiative stuff. Okay, there's the Beans. So I think we are going to go ahead and just actually blow that up. Just don't let them get their engine online so that they can start drawing cards off of, like, Solitudes and shit like that. Play the Plains, play the Petal. And then we are going to go ahead and cast the Witch Enchanter. There's no real difference casting it pre-combat versus post-combat. They still could Solitude and get a card off of it if they want to, but we'll see. A lot of these decks aren't playing Solitude anymore. They're playing just Leyline Binding. Okay, they do have it. Oh, they're playing a Zur version. Okay, so this might actually be an Enchantress deck. They are getting their value off of it now, though. I'm going to guess, yeah, they go after the real copy. That is something to keep in mind if you're playing against Age of the Skies, is there is an advantage for going after the token copy, or the real copy, because if you have some kind of blinking removal effect or an Oblivion Ring style effect, the token won't come back if they destroy it. So in general, you're going to want to go after the real copy. This is Zur. No, it's an Ardent play. Okay, is this like a Rhinos deck? No. What are they doing over there? It's just a way to find more Beanstalks. So it is a Domain deck. So this is just like Domain Beanstalk, apparently. Well, that's interesting. Good to know about these Leyline of the Guild packs and Draco combo. Luckily, their counter spells are kind of dead here, but let's take a look and see what they've got. We draw Solitude of our own that we can cast. There's 3 Leyline Bindings. I thought I saw another Solitude. What did they pitch? They pitched a Zur. So they could still have Solitudes, but let's get in, do our damage pre-combat, and they have to pay mana to be able to actually activate Zur. So I don't think we are at risk of losing the initiative next turn. So we will slam the Seasoned Dungeoneer. We will get the initiative, go grab our land, and in theory, they're dead next turn. It also doesn't look like they have any kind of cantrips. The Ardent Pleas are to be a body off of Zur and to find more beanstalks. So it's good to know that they don't really have true cantrips here. I don't see any board wipes main deck either. Okay, just playing another beanstalk. That's fine. If they have some removal spells, they're going to be able to start doing some stuff here. And a Scion of Draco that I don't particularly care about. Like, they get 2 cards off of it. They can technically counter our Solitude, but I'm not super concerned about that. The question is do I just want to push damage here and throw it on the Seasoned Dungeoneer, or do I want to actually, like, spread what I can do around here and put it on the Sage of the Skies? The Sage of the Skies can block this thing next turn. So, does this do Warlock? No. Wizard? Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and put it on the Seasoned Dungeoneer. We're just going to push damage that way. Play our planes. We're going to get in. What do we see on top? An Anointed Peacekeeper. Do we want the Anointed Peacekeeper? I think we do. We'll keep it. Or, whoops, I just threw it in the graveyard. Whatever. So they need to be able to remove the Scion of Draco. Or they need to be able to remove our Sage of the Skies if they want to be able to kill us or get the initiative. And we can just Emergency Solitude. They probably got Force of Wills in hand. I mean, there's 3 of them here, so maybe they don't. 4 mana. Oh, Leyline of the Guild Pact. I think we want to try to get the Solitude in now before this thing gets all of its colors. And if they Force of Will, they Force of Will. Alright, and they scoop it up, so they didn't have an answer to it. Okay. Interesting deck. I think we want Lorens and Palace Jailers in. They don't have cantrips, so we don't really need Chalice of the Void. I like Voice of Victory to be able to shut down their, whatchamacallit, counter spells on our turn. They really, Clarion Conqueror stops Zur, but I feel like we have so many other ways to deal with it, I don't think it super matters. So, yeah, let's just take out some Clarion Conquerors. This isn't a matchup for it, really. And let's try something like that. So this is turn 1 Anointed Peacekeeper or turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer. I think we're going to keep this. Starting out with a Leyline, that's mildly terrifying. Into a tap land, okay. So do we, like, the worry is that they have a Scion of Draco already. So with another Seasoned Dungeoneer in the wings, I think we're going to go ahead and just cast Anointed Peacekeeper here. And we will chuck Swords to Plowshares under here. We're just going to play out the Lotus Petal. Like, there's something we said about holding onto it for Sage of the Skies, but we're going to hope that we can name, like, a Draco here to stop them from being able to just cast it. Okay, they do have Scion of Draco, so that's 100% what we're naming. Make it so that it costs 2 more, and it's going to take a few turns for it to come down. They don't have any counter magic. They could play a Beans next turn. And it's going to be a minimum of 2 more turns before the Scion comes down. So we should be able to just drop. Okay, they could have counter magic now, but we'll see. But we're just going to slam the Seasoned Dungeoneers and start going to town. And hope that's enough to get us there. Okay, I like basic planes, so I don't have to take damage or pop my pedal here. See if they drew Force of Will blue card. Does not look like it. And we're going to be able to just turbo through this. Because we have another Seasoned Dungeoneer. It's actually funny that Seasoned Dungeoneer works with this. Okay, drew another land. I was kind of hoping to hit something to be able to deal some damage. And like I said, they're still 2 turns away from the Scion of Draco. There's Windswept Heath. They could Zur here. And it looks like they are. Okay, no, they're just going to go grab another Beans. So they're going to get to draw 2 off of the Scion, in theory. So all of this is gone now. It hit another one. It didn't have Force of Will blue card last time, so there's still likely not Force of Will blue card in their hand. And we're about to schwack for a ton here. We're just going to go ahead and forge up the Seasoned Engineer. Solitude is mildly annoying here as well. Okay, I actually like that a lot. Let's put this on human, because now we know for a fact that our Seasoned Engineer is going to resolve. Attack with both. We'll just give this pro creature, whatever. Another Seasoned Engineer. We will definitely keep that on top. They're down to 7. We will play another Seasoned Engineer to trap them. And then next turn we can get all the way into Throne of the Dead 3. And they're at 2. And even if they manage to slam this Draco, our Seasoned Engineer is going to be uncounterable, and we can have protection in multiple ways to get through their creature. So they would need something like a board wipe here to stop us. Yeah, they would basically need like a main deck Wrath just to stay alive at this point. Tapped and untapped some mana. Okay, just playing another Beanstalk on the way out the door, I guess? Okay, they can draw 3 off of Leyline Binding. That's totally fine. They're still just dead on board. They would need to chain into a shitload of Solitude plus white cards to be able to wipe everything out here. And they're going to 1? Are they forcing their own Leyline Binding? Wow, that is aggressive. Alright. They went to 0 on their own terms to force their own force. Cheers, opponent. I like going out on your own terms. I like that. Alright, on to the next one. Alright. If we draw a land, this is pretty decent. The question is do we trust our deck to produce one? Our deck is like 50% mana. I think we're going to give it a shot here. Like, we still have a turn 1 play to be able to kill an opponent's creature. Underground Sea from the opponent into a Ponder. Okay. So this could be blue-black Tempo. This could be Doomsday. This could be blue-black Reanimator. We theoretically have 2 turns to produce a land. We're just going to play the island and the plains and pass for now. They did not shuffle off of their Ponder. Into a Scalding Tarn. Tamiyo. Okay, if they try to flip that, we can Swords to Plowshares it. Clarion Conqueror also shuts down the backside. Okay. Ooh, and it's probably one of the best lands that we can get here. Since we have multiple Archons, I think we're going to chuck one of those under this Chrome Mox. Chuck an Archon under here. Our payoff spells here are going to be humans. So we're going to choose human. And we're going to go ahead and drop Anointed Peacekeeper to start. See what's going on over there and make our game plan accordingly. Fetches with their Scalding Tarn. Okay, so it definitely is blue-black something. They also could just Fatal Push this in response. Ooh. Okay, so it's Reanimator. Chucked an Archon of Cruelty. Do they have... No. We have an answer for the Barrogoyf, so I think we just name... Unfortunately, if they draw Reanimate, they can still just cast it anyways. They can flip the Tamiyo, but that's fine. Clarion Conqueror can shut that down. We have a Swords to be able to kill the Barrogoyf. I think we're gonna name Reanimate. Like, it sucks that they can still cast it, but they can't if they have to try to cantrip into it. And if they find it, they have to spend their whole turn casting it, so they can get in with their clue token, that's fine. Okay, they're brainstorming, so they can flip the Tamiyo, that's whatever. Unfortunately, we really don't have... Oh, well, we got the ley lines. I was about to say, we don't really have much for Reanimator, but I forgot that we have a full play set of ley lines in the sideboard, because, like, if you're not in blue, that's basically what you have to do at this point. Alright, takes out the Tamiyo, played a Scalding Tarn and fetched. And now they're gonna Ponder. I'd like another land so that I can Clarion Conqueror and hold up Swords to Plowshares. But I mean, if they just play a Barrogoyf, we can kill it. Into another Tamiyo, that's kind of whatever. I don't think that really matters much. Okay, that is another land. We could just also slam Seasoned Engineer here and just kind of hope for the best. But I am very scared of them just reanimating this Archon. I don't care about this Tamiyo, so let's just get in an attack for now. It's just a matter of We will attack their face. We want to drop their life total so that Reanimate gets offline. They also could just block with this other Tamiyo. I should have played the Seasoned Engineer pre-combat now that I think about it. Because they wouldn't have been able to block with the Tamiyo. Yeah, that was a punt on my part. I was just so caught up over like whether we should play Clarion Conqueror and hold up Swords to Plowshares, or if we should play Seasoned Engineer and take the turn off. And I think that's what we're going to do. But we're going to put this Cavern on Dragon. Confuse the hell out of our opponent here. And then we're going to play this. I don't think they have a way to get the initiative from us next turn. Yeah, I should have played that pre-combat so that we knew that the Anointed Peacekeeper was going to be able to get in play. But we'll see. Land from the opponent. Like I said, if they Barrowgoyf, that's actually kind of fine because we had the Swords to Plowshares to kill it. Okay, so they found the Reanimate. We are going to sack the Peacekeeper, and I think we're going to chuck the Archon of Emeria here. We have an answer for this, but then we have to find a way to deal with this Barrowgoyf. Wow, double Reanimate. Okay, that is annoying. That said, though, the problem is they're going to get 6 life back here. Is they're going to go to 10. We can schwack them to 5. If we top deck another Seasoned Engineer... Well, that's not even enough either because of the uptick on the Tamiyo. Yeah. Like, this is kind of what I thought was going to happen with this deck. It might just go a little more mid-rangey, but it was still going to be really good. I still do think that more people are on blue-black tempo now, but we'll see. I mean, we're just going to barrel on down through this. We're going to Forge. We might play a little back and forth when it comes to the initiative here. We hit a Solitude. So we could just play Solitude, get rid of the Archon of Cruelty, because we know one of their cards is a Barrowgoyf. That gives us Swords to Plowshares to get rid of the Barrowgoyf as well. Let's see what our top card is first. This gets pro-human or whatever, so we're going to go ahead and do this. They're also down 2 Reanimates now. Another Seasoned Engineer. We will absolutely keep that on top. They are going to be able... Well, actually, we can block. So they might not even get the initiative next turn. We're going to do this on our turn before they have a chance to draw Force Blue card. They could have a Daze, which would be terrible for us. Alright, that resolved. We are getting rid of the Archon. Just get that out of town. They're back up to 11 temporarily. And then next turn we can slam Clarion Conqueror and... Well, no, we need a land to do Clarion Conqueror plus Swords to Plowshares. But if they get in with this Anointed Peacekeeper, we can just go ahead and block it with a Solitude. Keep the initiative, and then we should be able to kill them. They're going to flip the other Tamiyo, and then they have to choose which one they want to keep. Luckily, this is not a May ability. They have to flip this Tamiyo. I'm assuming they're going to keep the one with more loyalty. Yeah, they're keeping the one with more loyalty. And they don't have a fatty for Animate Dead here. If they just play Barrowgoyf, I'm actually super okay with that. Because then they're just dead. Okay, they're going to Brazen Borrower the Solitude. And they have a Wasteland. So they get the initiative temporarily, which is fine. All they have left in hand is Barrowgoyf. So we are going to play a little bit of back and forth with the initiative here. But that said, they're just dead. Because this swings in for 6 and then we trap them to 0? Yeah, they're just dead. Okay, yeah, no, this ended up working out just fine, actually. Yeah, you can tick up Tamiyo. That's fine. Because if for some reason this backfires, like, I don't see how this backfires here. Because we know their cards are Island and Barrowgoyf. So if somehow they have a weird... Oh, they have another. Okay. So they can draw half of their deck. We need to just... oh, yeah, they brainstormed. That's why we didn't know what their hand was. Okay. Well, we're going to do this. Oh, whoops. We're still in combat. That's fine. We can let them forge. Yeah, okay, this is fine. We will let them forge. We just know that they have a whatchamacallit here. We're shutting down the Tamiyo for now. They can flash some creatures in, but I'm not super worried about that at the moment. They might just Lost Well instead. Nope, they're going to forge. That's totally fine. We're going to get the initiative back. They have one unknown in hand. And it's a Baleful Strix. Okay. I forgot that they brainstormed. But we are going to get the initiative, and we're going to be able to trap them. Unfortunately, we don't have a free attack here. Taking Cavern off of Human. Okay. So we don't know what their last card is here. We hit a Lotus Petal, so we can play around a Daze. Well, we're going to play this. We could actually just take out the Anointed Peacekeeper with Swords to Plowshares, and then Solitude the Baleful Strix, or vice versa. But it gives them a bunch of life back, which is mildly problematic. We could also just play Solitude, take our hit from Baleful Strix for a turn. But we don't get the initiative that way. That's a little annoying. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do this. Take out the Anointed Peacekeeper. Oh, this doesn't work because they have Brazen Borrowers, actually. I probably fucked this up. Yeah, I think they got back into this one now that I'm thinking about this. Because I can kill the Baleful Strix, but then they flash in a Brazen Borrower, and they just block. Then they can trap me to 1. Yeah, I think we're just going to do it this way. If their last card's a Daze, it's a Daze. Like, we kind of just have to do this, unfortunately. And if they have a Daze, they have a Daze, and we're just out of it. I don't think we can... Oh, I can't even activate it? Yeah, I fucked up. I forgot this affects our artifacts, too. Okay. They managed to get back into it, but it is what it is. That being said, Palace Jailer's in, Chalice of the Void's in, Leyline of the Void in. I think we can take the Archons out. I think we're going to take the Voice of Victories out. And I think we're actually going to take the Witch Enchanters out here. It feels weird dropping white cards that are technically lands, but we're already 8 lands. 22 if you count all of this stuff. So I think we're going to try something like that. Yeah, that last one was on me. I lost track of what was going on, and that Brainstorm got him back in it. But all right, see if we can get the next 2 games. Sorry the lighting keeps changing. I've been fucking with the lights since it actually just started raining and got really fucking dark all of a sudden. Okay, I actually like this a lot. We're going to go ahead and keep this. We're going to start with a Leyline of the Void. And then we're going to go into City of Traders, Chalice on 1. And then next turn, we are probably going to Chrome Mox, put Anointed Peacekeeper under it, cast Sage of the Skies, unless we get something better to do. Land from the opponent, that's fine. I might actually throw that Swords to Plowshares under this, because then we can follow up with Anointed Peacekeeper next turn. We're going to throw that under, cast a Sage of the Skies. Like, it feels weird getting rid of a removal spell, but their reanimation stuff should be offline now. And this is going to take 2 counter spells to get rid of both halves of this. So it'd have to be like a Daze plus a Force of Will, or like 2 Force of Wills, or like, I don't know. We're seeing. They're going to do Undercity Sewers. Bin to Barrogoyf, that's fine. Alright, looks like our creature's resolved here. We're going to see if we can get an aggro start. I would absolutely love a Cavern of Souls. Alright. Underground Save from the opponent and a pass. Another Chalice of the Void. I think we're going to start off with Anointed Peacekeeper here. Just see what's going on in that hand over there. Hopefully. And they scoop it up. Okay, started out aggro and disruptive enough, so I like that. I think we're just going to run it back. So there's something to be said about now that they saw our ley lines, they might actually, like, juke onto another plan here. This would be so good if we had a land to be able to play this Chalice on 1. But I think we got to ship this one. This is turn 1 Anointed Peacekeeper if we want to get rid of a land. But then we're kind of stuck on mana, but we have Palace Jailer. We have Solitude to emergency pitch if we need to. I think we're going to keep this. I actually think we're going to bottom the Chrome Mox here. Hope that we hit a Soul Land or another Lotus Petal or something. See what happens here. I feel a little naked here without some kind of graveyard hate, but we'll see what happens. Just a Bloodstained Mire from the opponent. Okay. Like I said, a Soul Land would be kind of nice. I mean, there's a Soul Land. Unfortunately, I think we're going to start off with the Plains, because I do want to be able to get to 4 mana to be able to play this Palace Jailer. Fetch from the opponent. Into a Surveil Land. Okay, so we're not instantly getting Entomb Reanimated here. Like I said, they might have actually just completely taken it out of the deck now that they saw our ley lines, and we just had to deal with fair creatures like Barrogoyfs and Bowmasters. They are going to play a Wasteland anyways. Okay. Ooh, you might have heard that thunder. Alright, see what we draw here. We draw another Solitude. I think now we are willing to play out the Lotus Petal to be able to play around a Daze. We can also Anointed Peacekeeper, and if they don't really have anything in hand worth naming, we can name Wasteland to make it harder. There's also, like, real... Oh, they're gonna Force of Will this. Force pitching Force of Negation. Okay. I was about to say, there is real tension about not even bothering to Wasteland the City of Traders, because it's gonna go away anyways. And it seems like they're not doing that yet. They might need the mana to, like, Barrowglyph here, in which case, hopefully, we can just get it with Palace Jailer. Alright, they're gonna Ponder. Into a Polluted Delta, okay. Alright, they are going after the City of Traders. I mean, that's kind of whatever. We still have about half of our deck as lands. Into a Sage of the Skies. That is interesting. I think we're going to hold on to it until we have a target for the Solitude. Try to Solitude and then Sage of the Skies so that we get 2 copies. We also have the much prettier Sage of the Skies. And yes, I am playing mismatched Sages today. Alright, opponent's going to Brainstorm. They are resculpting their hand here. And it looks like they're missing land drops. So this is still a little awkward. We don't really want to run anything out yet. I think we're just going to pass. I don't like giving them time to sculpt, but we have stuff we want to do. Okay, they didn't fetch. Okay, now they're shuffling, so there was something they wanted from that Brainstorm that wasn't a land. Into a Null Rod. Okay. Unfortunately, that does shut off some of our mana here. I mean, the only artifacts we have are Lotus Petal and Chrome Mox, so another land would be great. Into a Clarion Conqueror, okay. I mean, we'll keep passing the turn for now. They're still missing land drops, which is interesting. Ponder, okay. And like I said, our deck is about... I know I kept saying half, because that's like, if we included the Witch Enchanters, but since we took those out, it's like a third mana. Did not shuffle off of the Ponder. Into a Tameo, okay. And still missing land drops. Okay. There's a land. We are going to do the Solitude thing so that we get 2 Sage of the Skies. And they are just letting this go, so we're going to kill the Tameo. And we still have another Solitude. And now we are going to Sage of the Skies to get a copy. And again, this would need to be 2 counter spells to prevent these from coming down. And it looks like they're letting them resolve, which is interesting to say the least. I really want to know what their hand is that they are not, like... Okay, Baleful Strix I guess is fine. I don't really care about that. We have a way to get rid of that. Another land and I can Palace Jailer. A Chrome Mox I can't do anything with. Let's see if they're willing to lose their Baleful Strix here. Like, I'm willing to trade one of these for a Baleful Strix. Okay, that's fine. I probably should have played the Clarion Conqueror there, but I want to hold it up for Solitude. Alright, they finally hit their 3rd land. Okay, they're reanimating our Solitude to kill our Sage of the Skies. Okay, we're still at a point where, like, a land, and we can theoretically Palace Jailer away the Solitude, get the Monarch, and then if they kill our Palace Jailer, since it's our Solitude, we get it back. And that is a land. So, I mean, we're going to do the thing and just hope that they don't have counter magic. This also does set up if they have Bowmaster. They can kill this with the Bowmaster, then get the Monarch. But if they kill it, we're going to exile our Solitude. What I was about to say is if they do, we get our Solitude back. So, like, that is one thing to watch out for if you're playing against someone who has a Palace Jailer. Okay, so they're going to let us get the Monarch, but keep the Solitude? Okay. They really value anti-artifact stuff, apparently. I guess we'll see what our draw here is. We will absolutely snap block with this Palace Jailer. Ancient Tomb lets us hard cast our own Solitude. Another land from the opponent. I am mildly concerned about something like a Murktide Regent. They're fetching a bunch of stuff here. Just play a Barrowglyph. Hard casting a Snuff Out. Okay. I think this is worth pitching our Clarion Conqueror for and hoping that we just draw a land or draw something. Please do not have counter magic. Ooh, okay, that's a very good Force of Will. So now they're going to get the Monarch, and we have to find a way back into this game now. But they are down to 1 card, but they're going to get to draw 2 a turn. I think something along the lines of like a Seasoned Engineer Speak it into existence. I was about to say a Seasoned Dungeoneer is our best draw here. Assuming they don't have another Force Blue card. Because this can also just eat a Solitude, no problem. If they have a way to deal with our Seasoned Dungeoneer, we have issues, but... And then we can kind of do this, like, trading back and forth shit for a little bit. Assuming they don't just have, like, another Snuff Out or something. We also just could try to race here. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Opponent just hitting all of the reanimates. Yeah, this is going to be real rough to get back in, because now they have the initiative and the Monarch. So it's decks like this that are why the initiative kind of fell out of vogue. Because it's really bad when your opponent starts reanimating your shit. Well, we hit another Seasoned Dungeoneer, so we're just going to play it and get the initiative back for a turn. Assuming they don't have another counterspell of some sort. Because at this point, there's a very good pot. They do, yeah. Okay, this is going to be an early scoop. I know we still have a lot of life, but this game is virtually over here. Like, say what you will, but they have the initiative and the Monarch, and they're just churning through their deck, so I'm going to call it there. Good game, opponent. They managed to just find the way back into it, so alright, on to the next one. Okay, won the die roll. Let's go. Yeah. I like this a lot. We're going to keep this. This is turn 1 Cavern of Souls on human. Play a Lotus Petal to hold up a Swords to Plowshares past the turn. Next turn, we can either Seasoned Engineer or Anointed Peacekeeper, depending on what our opponent does. Into a Swamp. Okay, Thoughtseize. They probably take the Anointed Peacekeeper. This could be another Reanimator style deck. This could be a mono black aggro deck. Alright, so the opponent took one of the Seasoned Dungeoneers. In that case, then, we're probably just going to play the other one. Another Cavern of Souls. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just going to play a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Uncounterably. If they have a Reanimate, we can get the initiative back, and then we can Anointed Peacekeeper, and we can just start trading the initiative back and forth. But we'll see. A Plains. Okay, so this could be like Orzhov Sewers? Or it's just an energy deck. I can kill the Ajani. That's not a problem. They could have a Solitude, but I think we just want to get them dead as quickly as possible here. So we are still just going to go ahead and Forge, and if they have a Solitude to eat this in response to the Forge trigger, so be it. They're down 2 cards. Okay. So it's just like Orzhov tokens. I suppose that's mostly fine. We will go ahead and see what we draw. We draw an Archon of Emeria. We are going to go ahead and Anointed Peacekeeper, see what's in their hand. Devokian. Okay, this is the new white land. Whenever you attack this turn, create some white one, or 1/1s that are tapped and attacking. Okay, so I mean, we just named Skyclave Apparition. And then we can just kill the Ajani right now and get it out of the way. Lose our City of Traders. Take out the Ajani now just to get it off the battlefield. We can block this token to keep our life total. They would need to find... What did they pitch to that? They pitched a Staff of the Storyteller. Okay, they drew a Marsh Flats for turn. That's fine. We will trap the opponent. And we're probably just going to play this Archon next. Yeah, since we drew a Seasoned Dungeoneer, I don't think this really matters. We'll just put it on Archon for the hell of it. We will get in an attack. Yeah, they're probably not going to block. And now we just play an Archon. Make it so that they can only cast 1 spell in a turn. This and their special lands are going to come into play tapped, so they can't even, like, activate this, attack, and get the initiative with it. Getting a Shadowy back straight off of the fetch, okay. We just need a land, and we can go ahead and Seasoned Dungeoneer. Bindafelia. Okay, so it's an interesting take on the, like, Orzhov Blink Death and Taxes deck, but it's more tokeny. And they still can't Skyclave Apparition. Alright, playing this thing tapped, that's fine. We get to draw 2. So hopefully we hit a land to be able to play the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Hopefully one of these 2 draws is a land or a Lotus Petal. Sage of the Skies, okay. And a Witch Enchanter. I mean, Witch Enchanter is a land. So let's go ahead and get in. We have life total to work with here. We're going to get in with the Anointed Peacekeeper. They have 1 unknown in hand. Okay, Solitude pitching Skyclave Apparition. So we know they just have a land in hand. So they're gonna try to go wide. But we have a Witch Enchanter, which we are going to bolt in as the Witchfield Meadow. And then we're going to play another Seasoned Dungeoneer, go down into the Throne of the Dead 3, and hopefully hit something good here. Solitude, Solitude, Clarion Conqueror, Anointed Peacekeeper. I think we're just going to take the Solitude and get rid of your cat token. Opponent's like, nice hand. And they scoop it up. Okay, on to game number 2. What do we want against our opponent here? I really don't think there's anything in our deck we care about here. Like, we could bring in the Palace Jailers, but introducing the Monarch is risky. Like, I really don't know if we want to change anything for game 2. Like, if they got Overlord of the Baelmerk, I could kind of see, like, bringing Lauren in as another way to remove that. Palace Jailer is another way to remove a Johnny. Their mana is all up and down the curve, so it's not like a Chalice is really going to do a ton here. Clarion Conqueror is kind of whatever. It can shut down a Johnny, but that's about it. Maybe trim a Conqueror, bring in Lauren. I'm just real iffy if I want to risk introducing the Monarch against a token deck. Like, that's really my fear here, is if I bring these in. But if I can keep the table clear, like, that would be amazing. I think we'll do it for the sake of science and just take out 2 more Clarion Conquerors. And let's try that. We're a little iffy on white mana, but we can start casting pretty much anything ahead of curve here. I think we're going to keep this. Marshlands, fetch from the opponent. I'm guessing this is a Thoughtseize. Alright, what do they value here? Do they want to take the Jailer, do they want to take the Lauren, or do they want to take the Swords? If I were them, I would take the Swords. Because it's... Okay, they are taking the Swords, because it's my turn 1 play to be able to do something. Into an Archon of Emeria. Okay, we played the Plains and pass. We do want more white mana here, but next turn we can either Lauren or Archon. See what they do. Okay, they're going to Cabal Therapy me. Okay, so they're just working on discarding my hand away. Do they name Lauren or Palace Jailer? They choose the Palace Jailer. Okay, that's fine. They do a Marsh Flats. Do they have a 1-drop? Do they have the Guide of Souls or whatever? Do they just have another discard spell? Okay, our opponent is just on mono discard. So, I mean, we're just going to play whatever they let us have. So, I mean, if it's Lauren, it's Lauren. Yeah, I guess we're just going to play Lauren and hope that does stuff. We can also start drawing with it if we need to. Into a Swords to Plowshares. I think we're just going to play the Lauren for now. It's a little iffy. Yeah, there's no targets. It's a little iffy to start feeding our opponent cards here when they're so low on resources, but we're going to see what happens here. Tapped Shadowy Backstreet. And they pass the turn. Anointed Peacekeeper. I don't hate that. Let's get in. See if they have some kind of flash creature to eat this Lauren. They have an Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. We're all gonna draw a card. Chrome Mox. Okay. Okay, I actually did that wrong. I should have done that in response, but whatever. Life, such is life. We're gonna play an Anointed Peacekeeper, see what's in their hand. Felia and another Orcish Bowmasters. I guess we name Felia. Just make it so that they can't cast the Felia for now. We can Swords something. Okay, they just have the mana to be able to Felia now. So we might be going to a game 3. But we'll see what we draw here. They're not even bothering to attack. Okay. Another Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay, well, we're going to make them do their thing now. Because they could Felia bounce Felia for, like, infinite blockers. They're probably just casting Felia and Orcish Bowmasters here. Oh, no, they had to pay 4 to be able to do that. Let's do... We're going to name Orcish Bowmasters here. And we're going to see if they want to take the trade here with anything. Okay, they're going to do this trade. That's actually pretty okay with me. We will kill the Felia. So now they do have the option where they can, like, Felia bounce Felia. Alright, so opponent looks like they're just going to get in here. Still not getting in. Okay. Another Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so what can we do here? We can get in, trade off this Anointed Peacekeeper with something. I think that's worth it. Because they might try to do the Felia blink trick. Okay, they're double blocking here. Okay, we're just gonna kill this. Because they can flash in and grow this, so... Unfortunately, it's just replaceable. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Make it... They just let it go. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. I'm very confused what that was about. Alright, there's Felia. Are they flashing in the Bowmasters too? Yes, they are. So we're gonna take this as our chance to just get rid of this Felia for good. While their Karakas is tapped down. And then we just gotta deal with a Bowmaster, which, I mean, we've got a Swords to Plowshares for. But they have 2 cards. We don't really got much going on here, unfortunately. 4 mana from the opponent. Do they have their own, like, Seasoned Engineer or something? I feel like that'd be kind of high mana for what they're trying to do in this deck, but I don't know. We'll see. No, just playing a Witch Enchanter. Okay, that's fine. We have some life to work with still. Alright, what are they naming with this? Are they just gonna name the other Swords to Plowshares? Do they know about it? I don't think they know about it. Seasoned Dungeoneer is a miss. They could sacrifice something else to get this Swords to Plowshares, but they choose not to. Okay, that's fine. Do we draw Seasoned Dungeoneer? No, we draw Solitude, which I think is worth our our Swords to Plowshares here. So we're just going to throw that under there. They might think we're doing this just because we don't want them to Cabal Therapy it. What is this? This is another one of the new lands. This is exile a creature from your graveyard, make a 1/1. Do they have another Orcish Bowmasters is the question. We are going to find out. We're going to see what their last card is. Because we will kill this, or exile this, eat the Bowmaster, see what your last card is. Yes, I know I'm losing mana. We will block here, see what happens. Doesn't look like another Bowmaster, at least not yet anyways. Okay, and this isn't a sorcery only thing, right? No, okay. Seasoned Engineer? Another Ancient Tomb. I think we just get in, like, even if they make a dude to block here, like, we eat it, we gain some life, and it gets a card out of their graveyard. Casting Disruptor Flu, okay. What are they gonna name with this? Like, we have enough mana to do whatever. Okay, they're just naming Seasoned Engineer, that's fine. And they're not even gonna bother making a dude here, okay. They might make a dude at end step, trying to set up for a double block or something. Eating a Bowmaster to make a dude, okay, that's fine. Alright, opponent has five mana with 1 white. Okay, they're gonna Overlord here. So we are in a little bit of a pickle now. All they milled was a Bogart, but they can get back... Yeah, they got back the Felia, so that they can start doing blink shenanigans with the Overlord. Assuming we don't find something to do to kill that and or the Felia. Witch Enchanter, that is a way to kill that. Cast this. Blow up the Overlord. Get in. We know they have a Felia in hand, so they can start blinking things. But they don't have anything worth blinking at the moment. They do have an infinite blocker loop with Felia, but it's extremely taxing on their mana. Okay, so opponent has 1 unknown and a Felia, but it looks like they're just passing the turn here. So I think they're probably either going to do the, like, infinite Felia loop, or they're going to try to make a dude here. We can blow up the Disruptor Flu. I don't hate that. Not that it really changes anything, but I like having another body on the board. Yep, blow up the Disruptor Flu. And I think I'm willing to let them do their thing here. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and get in with everything. Just push some damage here. They don't have the mana to be able to do everything. They can make a dude, which it looks like that's what they're doing. And then they can flash in Felia. Alright, opponent is double blocking with the Spirit Tokens on Solitude. That's fine. Sorry about that little delay there. Got a call from the wife that apparently she got a tornado warning and I didn't. But gotta love tornado season in the Midwest. Alright. Solitude is dead. We'll pass a turn. They're probably going to flash in their Felia here. Like I said, now they do have like an infinite block loop sort of thing going on. Oh, they chose not to flash it in. Interesting. I don't like that we just have a bunch of lands in hand, but like anything we draw is pretty live. So as long as we draw, like, non-lands, we're good. We have enough lands. Just making a dude. Okay, they exile their Bogart Trawler. So are they... Oh, no, they're attacking it. Well, straight whiff here. All we have are lands, opponent. What are they going to name? Solitude. Okay. I mean, I guess that's the one thing we couldn't cast in theory. Alright, give us something good, deck. Give me a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Give me something. Cavern of Souls. Okay. I mean, we're just going to get in. If they want to get in with a Thalia and Chump Block, or a Felia and Chump Block, I'm fine with that. No, they're just going to take it. That's fine. They might flash in their Felia now and start, like, blinking out my Chrome Mox, trying to get value out of it, or they might start doing their infinite blocker loop here. They could also have an Overlord, and if they do, that's really bad for us, but we'll see. They do only have one creature left in the graveyard, though, for their Great Arishan City. We are flooding out pretty bad, though. Hopefully our opponent is as well, but they haven't been playing lands, so I'm not sure what they would have in hand that they're just kind of holding on to here. Stony Silence. Okay. Our opponents are very much favoring artifact hate for some reason. And, like, blinking out our Chrome Mox doesn't do anything for them. Okay, they're just blinking out the Stony Silence. Okay. They're just trying to grow their Felia. They could put it back in hand and then flash it into block, but then it dies. Okay, Seasoned Dungeoneer. I like that. We are going to go ahead and just do that. On human? I actually think I want to put this on elemental so that I have double white to be able to cast a Solitude. We've already got white for playing, or for everything with that, so I think we actually are going to put it on elemental here. Alright, Seasoned Dungeoneer gets in. Luckily, we don't really got to worry about counter magic from the opponent here. And the question becomes, do I want to try to push damage here, or do I just want to hold back? Honestly, I think I'm just going to hold back and let the initiative do its thing here. Because there is a world where, like, they have an Orcish Bowmasters, can attack in, blink something out of the way. So I think we're just actually going to hold tight here. And I will absolutely, like, chump block this with a fucking Witch Enchanter. 3 mana. Alright, just making a dude. Okay, that's totally fine, if that's what they're spending their mana on. Depending on what we draw, we might get in with the Seasoned Dungeoneer. It'd be great if our opponents just decided to blink our Seasoned Dungeoneer out of the way. Like, I'd actually be super okay with that. Okay, swords on the Seasoned Dungeoneer. That's okay. They have no more creatures in their graveyard to make dudes with, though. They can blink a Witch Enchanter out of the way to be able to get the initiative, but then it comes back, blows up Stony Silence. Then I get back in, get the initiative myself. Alright, our opponents get in. Let's see what they decide to do here. I'm assuming they're getting in with the Felia. Okay, they're getting it with both. Do they want the initiative that bad? Alright, do I let them get the initiative? Because one of these is a free block, basically. Like, I can let them get the initiative. I swing back in. They need to bounce, replay Felia? I think I'm fine with that. They can have a land. Another Seasoned Dungeoneer off the top to get the initiative back for sure would be pretty sweet. But I'll let them get a land. That's mostly fine. There's the land they played. Cute little Bloomburrow land here. Alright, so they've got 2 unknowns in hand. They can blink Felia back to block one of these. Into a Clarion Conqueror. Okay. Well, let's get in, see what happens here. They don't have any other creatures in the graveyard to be able to make anything with. If they've been sandbagging a Bowmaster, that's pretty bad. A Solitude is pretty bad as well. We're probably just going to play this game of trading the initiative back and forth until they can establish enough of a board to get through it. Alright, they're blinking the Felia back, so it looks like they're just going to try to block with it. But then it dies. Unless they've got something else to block this other one with. It doesn't look like it, so we're going to get the initiative back here. And Felia is gone. We're going to forge up, because we just want to kill him as quickly as possible here. And then play Clarion Conqueror? Have another body on the board to be able to block with? Swap from the opponent. And they scoop it up! Okay, taking down a pretty cool, Orzhov's tokeny build of, like, Orzhov Sewer. Okay, I like it. On to the next one. Okay, yeah, another recording session cut short due to storm. So it's the next day. We're gonna finish out this league. Luckily, no tornadoes this time, despite the warning. But there was some pretty bad flooding around town. But won the die roll. Let's go. Like, this has a lot of possibilities here, but I'm a little iffy on the mana situation here. I think we're gonna ship this one, and this is even worse for mana, unfortunately. I think we gotta ship this one too. Go down to 5. Which I hate dropping down to 5 already, but we'll see. Opponent kept on 7. We're gonna go one deeper here. Okay, I like this much better. We can keep this. Bin a redundant city. And do we want to bin the Witch Enchanter? Based off what we got here, yeah, I think we're gonna bin the Witch Enchanter. Start off with a Plains, hold up swords, and hope that we hit some kind of 0-drop to be able to play to drop this Sage of the Skies. But this also allows us to hold up Swords to Plowshares if they're on a Reanimator deck. Also protects us from Wasteland. Like, a Lotus Petal to run out the Sage of the Skies would be nice. An Anointed Peacekeeper would be nice. It that heralds the end. Okay. So we're up against Eldrazi. I think we're just going to take this off the battlefield now. And unfortunately, it might just run out a Blind Sage of the Skies. Yeah, I think we're just going to run out a Blind Sage of the Skies, unfortunately. This also protects it from potentially getting hit with, like, a Thought-Knot Seer or something. And we can gain our life back that we lost here. Question is what flavor of Eldrazi is this? Is this going to be one of the red versions that I've seen floating around lately? Looks like probably. Either that or this could just be a Thought-Knot Seer. No, it's going to be the Line Breaker. So this is going to be a red Eldrazi deck. I don't like where we're at currently. And a Chalice on 0. Okay, I mean, that doesn't really do anything for our hand right now anyways. Take a Schwack for 4. Into another Plains. That doesn't really do anything at the moment, unfortunately. So we're going to have to be super aggro against our opponent here. Unfortunately, they're kind of set up to be able to do some broken shit here. Hopefully they just have, like, no lands left and they were relying on fast mana or something, but oh no, we'll see. Nope, that's an Ancient Tomb. 4 mana. What is this? Thought-Knot Seer? Kozilek's Command. Ew. Well, that's a lot of damage. We'll turn off auto yields here, make them think that maybe we have something, but we actually don't. I think this is pretty over. Like, even if we hit one of our big creatures here, it's just not going to do anything. I mean, I suppose if we hit a Solitude, we can at least get rid of the Line Breaker for now and possibly stabilize. Solitude? I mean, I guess ask and ye shall receive. We're going to go ahead and just put this on human. It doesn't really matter. Drop Solitude, get rid of this Line Breaker, and hope they don't really have a follow-up. But they've just got so many big things that can just kill us out of nowhere, and they've still got 5 mana at their disposal. It's just definitely a matchup where the Initiative and the Monarch are going to definitely be liabilities, despite how good they theoretically could be. This can't be Myco Spawn. 5 mana, it's just like a... Yeah, it's a Reality Smasher. I was just about to say, is this a Reality Smasher? Luckily, we can kind of keep this in check, because we're gaining 5 every time we attack. Unfortunately, the, like, Ward discard a card is kind of a pain in the ass. Into a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Am I willing to start trading the Initiative back and forth? Probably. As much as that sucks, I think we're just gonna go ahead and do that. But we are gonna start trading the Initiative back and forth here. Ooh, okay. I forgot they could do that, so we only actually gain 2. But we're just gonna hope we can hit them for more, I guess. They might have to start holding this Reality Smasher back. I don't know. I'm very scared of what a follow-up could be. If they just have another Line Breaker, we're dead. Hopefully they just kind of bottomed out here. That would be the absolute best thing. Okay, they're getting in first. And this has Trample, so there's no point in even blocking it. So, I mean, they're going to get the Initiative back. We're going to go to 2. They theoretically could, like, Kozilek's Command to get rid of my Sage of the Skies, which then puts me dead to the Eldrazi Linebreaker, or the Reality Smasher. Into a Glaring Fleshraker, okay. Chalice on 1 puts me to 1. Do they have a way to get that last point of damage in? We hit a Witch Enchanter. That's an extra body. So I think we just get in with everything here. See what they do. And we are going to give Yeah, it can only target itself anyway, so that's going to have pro creatures to be able to get in. Archon of Emeria. It's a guaranteed body. It gets their lands to come in tapped. They're top decking. They can only cast one spell per turn. Is that worth it? I think it is. Oops, I put it in the graveyard. Oh well, whatever. It was so iffy anyways. I'm not sure it really matters. They can blank some of this life gain. I gain 2. I get the initiative back. I can block. They trample over. Yeah, we're just dead here. Oh, that was super close considering how fast of a start they had there. Well, let's see. Up against Eldrazi. Ensnaring Bridge seems pretty decent here. Voice of Victory doesn't seem particularly good. Palace Jailer, I'm super iffy on here. Like, as I said, they have a lot of creatures, so being able to introduce something like the Monarch and the Initiative is super risky, but it might be worth it. And we can take out some number of Clarion Conquerors here. This is definitely not a match where they're going to be super relevant. Like, I just want to bring these in because they're removal. Honestly, like, that's the only reason I really want them in here. I mean, Voice of Victory does shut down Kozilek's commands on my turn. So, I mean, maybe it's worth keeping the Voice of Victories in. Get rid of 2 more Clarion Conquerors. This is also a lot of bodies to be able to try to go wide with. Let's try something like that. Alright, let's see if we can get a better opener here. Okay, I like this a lot. We are going to keep this. This is exactly how we want to start out here. Most of their lands are non-basic, so a turn 1 Archon should be able to pretty much just shut them down long enough for us to be able to go crazy. Because we're going to Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, pitch an Archon, play Archon. Next turn, we will Cavern of Souls, drop Seasoned Dungeoneer, and hopefully just take over the game. So we're going to play Ancient Tomb, play Chrome Mox, put a redundant Archon under here, and drop the other Archon. I suppose that they have, like, basic into a Dismember that can unlock their lands a bit, but since so many of their lands are non-basics, they all should enter in tap now and just completely keep them off curve. And we draw another Seasoned Dungeoneer. This is going to go on human. We're going to get in, and then we're going to play the Seasoned Dungeoneer post-combat. They shouldn't have any kind of 0-mana interaction. And now we can just kind of take the game over. Take the initiative, grab our planes, pass the turn. This also lets us Seasoned Dungeoneer and hold up Swords to Plowshares just in case we need to. They can't drop a 4-drop here. Okay, into an Eye of Ugin. I guess this lets them play a 4-drop. Okay, what do they want? Do they want the Seasoned Dungeoneer or do they want the Swords to Plowshares? I think they have to take the Swords to Plowshares. Because the Swords just straight up clears this, where a Seasoned Dungeoneer, I've got to do some other stuff with it. And I think I'm willing to start trading the initiative back and forth here. Oh, they take the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay. That is an interesting choice, but they are allowed to make it. We're going to forge up onto the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Draw a card for turn, a Lotus Petal. We can get in. There's something to be said about leaving the Seasoned Dungeoneer back, just in case they have, like, well, they can't even Lotus Petal into a, whatchamacallit, a Line Breaker. So I think we are safe to just do this. Chrome Mox, we do not need that. That can go into the graveyard. Schwack in. We will play our planes, and we will pass. And they should just be dead next turn, because they can only cast 1 spell here. They'd have to randomly have a basic mountain. Alright, I'll let them get into combat, and then I'll Swords it. Alright, now we're going to Swords it. We get to draw a card. They go back up to 14 temporarily. We got a planes out of the way. They could drop, like, another Thought-Knot Seer here, but it just takes a Lotus Petal, so I don't really care about that. Alright, opponent plays another Eldrazi Temple into a Glaring Fleshraker, but that's honestly fine. Because this should still just be lethal with the trap. Because we'll trap them to 9. Yeah, we'll trap them to 9, and then, I mean, granted, I guess we only have 8 power on board, but if we'll draw a card. Yeah, we would have been that just to be able to kill them, so cool. We just need a repeat of that, basically. That being said, I don't think it's worth changing anything else out here. They don't search their library, so even a Mind Sensor doesn't do anything. We already determined Clarion Conqueror doesn't. Lauren can blow up a Chalice, but they honestly might have taken the Chalices out. our only. I mean, they might keep him in because of Swords to Plowshares, but like, I don't know. We definitely don't need HLs of our own. I think we just run it back. Okay, I like this. It's a little wonky, but we can get down an Ensnaring Bridge super fast and pretty quickly empty our hands, so I think we're going to keep this, and then we just turtle it behind an Ensnaring Bridge and hope for the best. Eldrazi Temple into it that heralds the end. That's totally fine. Ooh, into a Chalice on 0. That does slow us down a little bit, but not a ton. We're just going to cast this. We can just cast these Petals and Chrome Boxes to get them out of our hand to start getting under Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, no play yet. So I guess we're going to see what they got here. Hi, Vugan. Is this going to be a Thought-Knot Seer? Yes. With the Thought-Knot Seer on the stack, we have to remove it. They're probably going to take our Ensnaring Bridge now. We also can work our way up to just casting the Switch Enchanter to blow up the Chalice. I'm sure they take the Ensnaring Bridge. So that was a very good sequence of cards from our opponent. Yeah, they took the Ensnaring Bridge. We kind of knew that was going to happen. I wouldn't mind a 3-drop here just to kind of stonewall stuff and see what's going on over there. Another... Ugh. I mean, I guess that's a pain-free way to cast the Witch Enchanter next turn. We just gotta hope they don't have anything else too crazy in their hand, but they've got 6, theoretically 7 mana. Redundant Thought-Knot Seer? Yeah. We need to hit another Ensnaring Bridge or we're just kind of dead here. Archon of Emeria is at least interesting. We'll play it out. I think this one's pretty well over, but we'll see. Like, they could devour and just exile this at this point. It does at least block the It that heralds the end. They also could just, like, Kozilek's command it or something. Getting it with just a Thought-Knot Seer, that's okay for now. Tapped Ancient Tomb, passing the turn. I really need an Ensnaring Bridge or something similar. Lands are not doing it here. Really good back and forth in game 1, pretty dominating in game 2, but double Thought-Knot Seer game 3 with them on the play kind of just ruins our day. Hopefully they've just got like a bunch of lands over there and nothing to really do with them. Well, we'll go to 6. Nope, they got something else. Null Drifter, maybe? Hear that, or it's a Kozilek's command? No, Endless One. Okay, so I basically need to hit an Ensnaring Bridge off of the top or I'm just dead. Nope, that's a land. Okay, good game, opponent. Good game. Just kind of bottomed out and they had the perfect hand. So, alright, on to the next one. Okay, final round. Playing for the positive record. Lost the die roll. Let's just get some, like, super easy, dump my hand, overrun the opponent style stuff this round. Get that entry fee back and a sweet little treasure chest for our efforts today. I think we'll keep this. This actually isn't bad. Leyline of the Void. Okay, so mono black something, or this could be like a Helm combo something. Okay, Chalice on 1 is fine. We don't really care about that at all. Clarion Conqueror is going to be huge here. The problem is we want to put this on human, or we could put it on dragon, or we could just play the Witch Enchanter for now and see what happens. I think that might be what we do here. Just play this, hold up Solitude, and we can determine what we want to do next turn. We can drop Clarion Conqueror to shut off the Helm that I'm sure is coming. Unless they just have, like, Swamp, Dark Ritual, Helm, activate all in one turn. Fellmire, okay. Into a Barrowgoyf. Okay, we have an answer for that, no problem. It just comes down to what do we want to do. With a Lotus Petal, we can Seasoned Dungeoneer, take the initiative. They're still a ways away from being able to Helm us. Let's look at multiple Dark Rituals. We have the Solitude. I think because we can kill this Barrowgoyf, we're just going to go ahead and slam the initiative here. I feel like we can probably safely chuck Voice of Victory to the Solitude, and then we can try to Clarion Conqueror with the other one if we need to. This Lotus Petal is sitting on the stack. I'm not sure why. Alright, Player City Traders. We're going to slam this bad boy out. We have the initiative. Grab a Plains, pass the turn. We can kill the Barrowgoyf on their turn. Like, I am mildly concerned about, like, ritual, get the helm, kill us, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen yet. We will go ahead and kill the Baraglyph. The nice part is at least they can't reanimate our stuff with the Leyline of the Void in play. And then Urza's Saga, okay. So we're gonna forge this up. And then I think we're gonna play Clarion Conqueror now. Tap this, play the plains. And then we're going to... Actually, we're going to tap this one just in case they randomly have a Wasteland. And then we will get in with the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Chrome Mox, we do not need. We can bin that. And then this puts Lethal on board. And this shuts them down from being able to helm us. They can make a construct, but it's not going to matter because this is going to be able to get pro creature. So they would need something like Ritual into Fell the Profane to be able to kill the Seasoned Dungeoneer to stay alive. Alright, Saga gets its creature-making ability. Ancient Tomb, 4 mana, for Karn the Great Creator, and they scoop it up. Yeah, Karn wasn't going to be able to get anything for 0 mana that stops this. Okay, taking this down game 1. Also, Clarion Conqueror shuts down Karn anyways. So against what our opponent's doing, I think I want the Aven Mind Sensors and the Lauren. Question is, what do we take out? Problem is like everything is good. There's something to be said about maybe take out the Voice of Victories here. Because like this will blow up their artifacts. This prevents them from searching their library with something like a Beseech the Mirror or the Urza Saga trigger. They probably have some instant speed removal, but I'm not real sure on that. Like, everything else in our deck is really good here. Maybe we just trim 1 Sage of the Skies. Try this and adjust accordingly if we go to a game 3? Yeah, let's try this. Okay, I like this. We will go ahead and keep this. Unfortunately, it's a turn 2 Aven Mind Sensor. Unless we hit a Chrome Box or something. Okay, Dark Ritual is fine. Into a Baraglyph. We can kill that. I'm not concerned about that at all. Chrome Box? Okay, well, since we're not doing anything until next turn anyways, we can just play the plains and pass. Because then we don't have to open ourselves up to getting hit by a Wasteland either by playing this plains instead of playing one of the Witch Enchanters. And then next turn, we can Ancient Tomb, hold up Aven Mind Sensor. We're probably going to pitch one of the Witch Enchanters to kill the Baraglyph. Or we could pitch the redundant Aven Mind Sensor. I don't know. We'll see what they do here. Ancient Tomb. Okay. We are going to go ahead and... Do we pitch the redundant Aven Mind Sensor is the question. Witch Enchanter has more utility, but I like Aven Mind Sensor to stop them from being able to tutor. Think we'll pitch the Witch Enchanter just so they don't know about the Aven Mind Sensor so we can maybe get them. I don't think there's anything they can do with Flash that allows them to, like, prevent this ETB or counter this in mono black. Evoke trigger on the bottom so that they don't gain more life than they need to. Exile that first so they only get 1. And then no follow-up play. Into a Cavern of Souls. We will play an Ancient Tomb, hold up Aven Mind Sensor. Plan on flashing that in, and then we're probably going to drop Seasoned Dungeoneer unless they drop, like, some kind of artifact or enchantment. Ooh, missing land drops. That is rough. We are going to flash in the Aven Mind Sensor now. Just be as mana efficient as possible. Into an Archon of Emeria. Ooh. We could Archon first, but I think we're going to play Cavern of Souls, put this on human. We will get... Do we want to get in, or do we want to hold back for an Orcish Bowmasters? I think we're going to hold back just in case they randomly have Orcish Bowmasters. There's so many things that could... You know what? We're going to wait. We're going to attack, and we're going to play Archon. Just stop them from being able to ritual out anything too crazy here. Sudden Edict. Okay. We'll sack the Mind Sensor. We actually can just flash another one in. Or do we care more about Archon here? If they play a Karn, we can still attack into it with the Mind Sensor, but this shuts down their other stuff. I think we're just going to play the Archon this turn. Make it so they can only cast 1 spell per turn. Unless their hand is just like a shit ton of removal. And so far, the answer is no. Another Witch Enchanter. We can play this one as a land. We don't need to bolt it in. I think we're just gonna do the same thing. I'm like irrationally scared of them just randomly having a Bowmaster to get the initiative back. Take two. Yeah, we're gonna pass until I have multiple bodies to be able to hold back. Opposition Agent. Okay, that's fine. We have another Aven Mind Sensor we can flash in to be able to block that. So it looks like neither one of us are going to be casting spell or searching our library for stuff, but I have a surprise blocker for them that they don't know about. Ooh, they tried to bolt it in. Ooh, opponent. Opponent learning how Archon of Emeria works. We will flash in this Mind Sensor, and we don't even need to take damage to do it, thanks to their Urborg. And then we will block this guy. So we can search our library now if we want to. Anointed Peacekeeper, I like that. Let's see what's going on over there. See what they've been sitting on. We're going to tap this to make it seem like maybe we have a Swords to Plowshares. Okay, Fell the Profane and Sheoldred. We're going to name Sheoldred. Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Yes, we are going to make that cost more. And they've got some useless Chrome Moxes. They do have a removal spell. So they could, in theory, kill our Archon if they want to. And then I think we're fairly safe to... Oh, they're not even playing it. Okay, they're waiting until they can... What do they want to kill here is the question. Sage of the Skies? They can kill something. They'll probably kill the Anointed Peacekeeper, if I had to take a guess. We will be in combat. Attack with everything. They are going to kill something here. They're killing the Anointed Peacekeeper. That's fine. They'll take two. And now we will drop our Seasoned Dungeoneer. Start the initiative thing. Because they're not able to flash in a Orcish Bowmasters here. And we'll grab our planes, play the planes, pass the turn. They can play Sheoldred. I don't really care about that. Yep, there's the Sheoldred. That doesn't matter. And they scoop it up. Okay, nice little positive record with the deck. I like it. I like it a lot. So that league was a blast. The deck actually worked really, really well. I was a little worried with how fast the meta was that we might be even a little bit too slow, even being a Stompy show, but even up against some of the faster decks that we saw, we were able to pretty well keep up. Like, even with blazing fast starts out of that Eldrazi deck, that first game, we almost got back into it, or we really did get back into it. We almost pulled it out. But yeah, no, the new Tarkir Dragonstorm cards felt absolutely fantastic. They all came up at one point or another. Clarion Conqueror being able to shut down artifacts and planeswalkers was huge. Sage of the Skies is just a great aggro card, especially in a deck that has a bunch of fast mana like this in the form of Chromox and Lotus Petals, so you can run it out with the copy on turn one. The only card I'm a little iffy on here is Voice of Victory. Like, I like that I can spit out tokens and go wide, and I like that it's another way to essentially shut down your opponent's counters if you want to play on sorcery speed and just play everything during your turn. But the effect might be a little redundant due to the fact that we already have Cavern of Souls, and pretty much everything in our deck is creatures for the most part. So I could see possibly cutting that, swapping it out for something else. I'm not really sure what would go in that slot. As I mentioned before, there's some versions that are running around with like Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Really don't think she's good enough for Legacy anymore, but I could see it as like another form of kind of Storm hate, but you've already got the full play set of Archon of Myriads anyways. So I would say Voice of Victory is probably the real only flex spot in the deck, but even then, it still felt good when we played it. And it was nice to have another creature that's a human so that you can name human on Cavern of Souls and still cast most of your deck. The sideboard felt pretty good for the most part. Lauren was kind of iffy. We already got the Witch Enchanters, and the only time we really played her, she basically just chump attacked and drew cards. So I'm not really sure what to say there. Aven Mind Sensor, while it was great as a surprise blocker up against that mono black deck in the last round, we didn't really face any decks that are really trying to tutor through their library. So we didn't really get to see that pop off, but while I was testing the deck, I actually had an opponent just straight up scoop to an Aven Mind Sensor that I flashed in response to their fetch land. So I still think there's some utility for that. Palace Jailer, it's a nice removal spell, but we did see that there are quite a few decks in the meta currently that are still playing creatures onto the board. So introducing the Monarch and the Initiative in this deck really is a risk. Sometimes it'll pay off, sometimes it won't. That's another card I might consider swapping out for something else. I'm not super sure what, but just something to keep in mind. But yeah, overall, the deck felt great. We managed to put up a positive record. All the games felt really close for the most part, or we just kind of steamrolled our opponent. So I do think Mono White Stompy might be back into the meta now as a fringe deck. And if you want to go play an FNM and want to play something fun, highly recommend this deck. Not sure how I would feel running this through like a big tournament or anything, but it definitely has the power to be able to hang with the top decks in the meta right now. So if you want to give these new Tarkir Dragonstorm cards a go, they just fit naturally into the shell. So I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next one. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.